checking in with PandaCat and the Kaolin Wardens to see how they do here.
I'm curious if they're actually ready, though. That's the question.
Let's have a look at the standings, though, Charlie, real quick to see how this is going to play out between the two. And as you can see, Mixidity, top of the shop, 2-0. And Kaolin Wardens up against We Ready next. If We Ready win this, they already beat GIobe Storm. We could be seeing 2 SOC teams. I believe that's unprecedented that I've seen 2 SOC teams qualify over 2 SEC, but that could be the case.
That is a big deal, and I think that number one, the Kaolin Wardens, if they're zoned into what's happening here, they might be like, hold on, there's a bit of a swift in the tide. How come these SOC guys are feeling so confident? I do expect the Kaolin Wardens to put up a bit of a fight, but of course, after already going down 0-1, after being towards that elimination point, you got to think nerves are pretty high for them as well.
Very, very nervous here as well for all the teams still involved who want to be holding on to their spots for the SEC. If you didn't know about the SEC for Europe, by the way, that will be delayed. If you check on our Twitter, you can see some more information about that. But those SEC EU games are being replayed for the relegations over there, and we'll be bringing you that in a couple of weeks' time. But that's it from me and Trolley. I'll get off your screen with my ugly face and get back to sitting in the back room. Have a good rest of your day. Next up, Kaolin Wardens versus We Are Ready. After this.
Gotta get the cake. Okay, this ain't what you used to. Always with the new. This ain't what you used to. I do me, do you? I do me, do you? This ain't what you used to. 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 This ain't what you. No, this ain't what you used to. Switching from the bikes to a new coupe. You know I keep some new shoes. Keep it simple, not like you. All night, get right. Know you know the price. Know you know the name, no games. I need all my money now, not playing man. This ain't what you used to. I might fly to LA, this cold weather ain't for me. Hit the bank, run your way, what you used to. And I'm grinding to the top, I can't let it slip away, so I gotta get the pay. Okay, this ain't what you used to. Always with the new, this ain't what you used to. I do me, do you? I do me, do you? This ain't what you used to. 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 This ain't what you. Calls keep coming in. For the win, get it in. This ain't what you used to. So you get on my nerves. Try hit my line, get curved. This ain't what you used to. Round, swerve. Everybody here knows the word. This ain't what you used to. No, you know the drill. Overpay and now I see the rail. This ain't what you used to. I get it in for my kids. Stack those chips and I get that check. Now what you used to. You see how I live. Work my biz. I'm too far from the rest. Now what you used to. Okay, this ain't what you used to. Always with the new. This ain't what you used to. I do me, do you? I do me, do you? This ain't what you used to. 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 This ain't what you.
I used to work the day away. I figured I could maybe pave away. No, it's easy count the days till I fade away. But you know I always find my way to turn a bad look in the field to something solid. I'm on target for a major play. Used to waste the day away. She hit me to say I'm on her mind, but my commitment to the game got me OT till I OD and then I fade away. Lately I've been giving down tones and meeting milestones. No way I'm giving all of me. She settled for a left hand with a gem over a piece of me. My mind's always as clear when she done climbing on the top of me. Really by the code, needs you to keep the same energy. I've been this in my sleep, I got here off muscle memory. Self-love gone missing, I'm right back to claims of needing you. I give you that attention that you craving, got you refueled. For real, I hope you find some sort of peace and all that meditating. I've been looking for mine inside the blood, I'm self-medicated. Bad little vibe, ride or die, she on standby. 30 from 30, I'm not missing if I'm shooting mine. All I ever did was take the risk and learn in real time. How you think I'm up right now, been living on this type of time. All I ever did was take the risk and learn in real time. How you think I'm up right now, been living on this type of time. All I ever did was take the risk and learn in real time. The world outside's on fire, niggas dying and the rent is due. When the babies learn to cock and fire back before they even get to live their truth. I think somebody God got me right, cause I don't really look like what I made it through. People from the past wonder how. Somebody tell the realest, this live inside you too. I keep a bad little vibe, ride or die, she on standby. I'm 30 for 30, I'm not missing if I'm shooting mine. All I ever did was take the risk and learn in real time. How you think I'm up right now, I'm stuck. In this real good renaissance, all in on myself, I treat the movement like an enterprise. Take a look around, you think we made it to the end of times. How you think I'm up right now, been living on this type of time.
She got cheats, she got smiles, she got business on the side. She got treats for them guys, when a baby out of town. Got cheats, got size, funny business on her mind.
Well, welcome back, everyone, to the SCC Relegations here in North America. Again, as you probably just heard Hindu say, if you're wondering why this isn't Europe on a Saturday, just go check out our Twitter. There's going to be a whole post about it, kind of discussing. But they're replaying their games, and that will be coming at a different time. As of right now, it is an interesting moment if you're looking at it, Mifflin, because what we have right now, if we take a peek at the standings, is one team who I believe in the Mixidity is set, right? 2-0. Even if you lose a set here, you're 2-1. Unless you tie and then tiebreakers get involved, you're feeling pretty good about where you're set. We Ready trying to replicate that, right? Again, for anyone watching, it is round robin, so they're going to be playing everybody in their, I guess, division in the relegations. If you get...
Yeah, everybody here is playing each other.
That's the best way to say it. If you end up 3-0, guess what? You've done the best that you possibly can. Don't have to worry too much about it unless another team 3-0s, which can't possibly happen because that's how you got the 3-0 in the first place. So 2-0 feels good for Mixidity. We Ready right now are going to try and match that 2-0. They're going to be taking on the Kaolin Wardens, the 0-1 team. Now, it is very important to note that Game 1 of this set is just unattainable. It is not something that we're going to be watching, so we're going to be jumping into Game 2 in just a second. So Game 1's already finished, and that is going to give us an interesting dynamic jumping into Game 2 for We Ready and Kaolin Wardens. Me and you watched the We Ready team earlier today, Shiπigami. I believe Kaolin Wardens haven't been on broadcast today. Yes, that's true. They've been playing any of the only set they played earlier was going on while me and you were casting that very first one. So now we get to see Shiπigami come back, which admittedly there was a whole team attached to him, but it didn't really seem like he might have needed them as much. He was just absolutely insane, which I feel bad because that is a little disrespectful. Ratmilk was like 12-4, 12-3 or something at the end of that. That was very, very good game from We Ready. But the Kaolin Wardens, GIobe, GIobe, PandaCat, Shortfuse, RelentlessOne, a ton of players on this that we have seen, constantly over the last few months and who have been very, well, I would say very successful, except there's a reason that they're down here. The SCC maybe a little bit of a struggle. So, Mifflin, how are you feeling, I guess, about these two specifically? I immediately am starting to look at the jungle matchup just because I know what we've seen out of Ratmilk, but I also have to look towards Shiπigami, GIobe. I think that's going to be a really fun lane.
Yeah, I think so. What do I think? I'm down on the SCC right now.
Yeah.
It feels like the SOC talent a little bit more interested, a little hungrier, and have come into this event with a little bit more behind them as well. As for direct matchups from the Kaolin Wardens in particular, I'm interested in the world champion. You know, getting to watch PandaCat I think is going to be very interesting. Otherwise, for some reason, feels like PandaCat's squad might be the underdogs here.
Yeah, and it's a weird spot to be in. We find out whether or not they are truly the underdog. I will say they are up 1-0. I have some details about Game 1 so that we're not flying completely blind and so that you at home can know more about it. So it's 42 minutes long, right? Able to find this win for the Kaolin Wardens. The Wardens had banned things like the Vimana, the Serqet, Aphrodite, Bakasur, and Susanoo. Those are their 5 bans. The bans from We Ready were Guan Yu, Marty, Hachiman, Izanami, and Ram. Picks for the Wardens: Hercules, Yemoja, Merlin, Cupid, Ratatoskr. The last two maybe not as meta, but those top 3
Top 3 is good.
Kind of nuts. The other side was Nox, Cernunnos, Achilles, Thor, Zeus. And you know what? I'm just going to say 42-minute game. If you're not winning and you have Zeus on your team, I know what kind of Zeus game it was.
Yeah, probably not the greatest. and again, just to reiterate one more time, absolutely apologies to the fans at home. Game 1 of this set, unattainable. Just weren't quite able to get it. The file was corrupted. It is unviewable, but the Wardens win out in Game 1. We are just continuing the set from here. So 1-0 to the Wardens as of now, still a best of 3. I just want to make sure that is absolutely clear.
Which, good news for them, at least visually, means they just have to win the one that we're watching.
Yep.
And you've got your 2-0, and you cause some tie-breaking conversations to maybe start entering the field. As of right now, though, We Ready are going to try to ruin their chances there. Catching up on the bans at the very top. Guan Yu, Marty, Kern, the 2 twins looking down there at the bottom. And on the other side, Nox, Vimana, Hachi, with a first pick and Mifflin of all the things that it ever could have been. I never would have predicted it. Achilles locked in for We Ready. That gets answered back by Yemoja Serqet for the Wardens, which is a hell of a way to start. We Ready continue Achilles alongside now Hunbats and the Ram that we saw work so well for Shiπigami earlier.
Yeah, I wonder what it is with this Achilles pick. The set we had cast earlier as well, Achilles had received a few bans. So it could be that the SEC is just big on Achilles right now. Could be that it's just We Ready is big on Achilles right now. So either way, we will get an opportunity to see him. And what Achilles brings to the team fight is pretty similar to the majority of the rest of the Warrior cast in that he's going to spend the majority of his time backline diving, wants to get in the backline, disrupt, utilize CC. He's one of the more mobile Warriors as well, so it's very difficult to lock him down. Otherwise, has the potential to be the be-all, end-all on frontline as well. In a frontline v frontline fight, Achilles has an execute, and if frontlines are fighting, generally backlines are getting involved as well. So we'll see how he elects to play. A good front-to-back style pick.
Bans, Terra, Zeus. So maybe I'm actually wrong. Maybe it was a really nuts Zeus game in 42 minutes and they just got lucky.
Nobody wants to play against Zeus for an hour. You know?
Admittedly, and then having to go against him again. Look, there's a reason Vin's been eating those bans too.
Yep.
It's just because sometimes, even if you lose with him, he's a nuisance. Once you get to 25 minutes plus, you're full build. You're feeling good. Merlin, Ishtar, banned on the other side. Been a long time since Ishtar's been in that conversation. They answer with a Heimdallr on the Wardens. And then We Ready close out their draft. They pick up the Ganesha. They pick up the Janus. Now, if I'm looking at this, outside of the Achilles Mifflin, I think the Hunbats was actually on Leon.
It was the other
side. But they've played a draft very similar to this already today. I think they had it was the Thor, right, in their jungle pick. So that's going to look great. Muzen Cobb means it's double Hunter on the other side. How are you feeling about the drafts?
I'm not an Muzen Cobb guy, that's for sure.
That's Stardust.
Double Hunter composition. Both drafts are fine, but I think We Ready have certainly got one that is easier to play.
Easier to play, and as mentioned, comfortable on. We'll see how they do in Game 2 here. They're already down 1-0. And so for probably one last time, I'll just mention, Game 1, unviewable, unattainable here. Wardens able to win that in 42 minutes. So it was not an easy win for them, which I think has just been the motif of the day. The SCC teams struggling. Mixidity was able to beat both Shibalba Storm, as we just watched, but then during set 1, while we were watching We Ready and Shibalba Storm, they were able to beat the Kaolin Wardens. Twitch seems to be pretty heavily in favor of We Ready here, too. This SOC squad has already taken on one and beaten one of these SCC teams. We'll see what they can do. It's PandaCat on the AMC mid, mid, low, and PandaCat with the bees starts things off with the first blood, going from a 42-minute win into a sub-1 minute kill. Feels great for the Wardens.
I mean, that is just simple. Shortfuse walks up, connects the taunt, damage is there. I mean, Ratmilk juked back into the honey. That's slow multiple times, and auto attack's certainly going to find their way home. He's going to be eating that much of a movement speed debuff. All that said, my heart does go out to PandaCat, at least a little bit. I know he's got first blood, but switches roles, comes back to the SCC, wants to have some fun in mid, has to play a hunter anyway. He can't be too happy about it.
You know, he played last year's meta. He knows what he was getting into. He saw what the mid laners were having to do. He gets over there. I do want to ask you about it because I feel like Honey and Hive, right, very early on, you know, Swarm does so much, it feels like. But to go for Honey that early is different, I think, overall. Having that early, I guess, in your build in general is something I wasn't expecting to see level 2.
I mean, you can go, I believe it was Hive level 3.
Yeah, I think
that he elected to go. So
Swarm,
Swarm then Honey.
Yeah.
And that's just standard, right?
Is it really?
You could use...
I'm playing AMC wrong.
Yeah, you could use Swarm to proc your Honey. It doesn't necessarily need to be the Hive. You could even throw out the Swarm and then throw out the Honey afterward and still catch it to proc your Honey as well. So standard stuff there. Just good pressure, good poke potential.
I'm playing AMC wrong, dude. I'm leveling my Swarm than my Hive.
Yeah, you could do it the other way.
I'm messing around.
Fun fact, you could also do like Noxious Fume after Flame Wave, you know? Like that's pretty cool too.
Okay, well, okay, hold on.
It's the same tech.
Yeah,
man.
I know that one.
All right.
All right. I'm a support main. That's gonna be my excuse here. I just never thought to level my Honey early. I feel, oh man, I don't know why I feel so.
Yeah, not many people. Look, when AMC is meta, he's only meta for like 4 months.
Yeah, that might be it.
And
that's
that
if
might
you're
just
lucky.
be it. And that's if you're lucky. So.
But hey, you know what? Honey goes hard there at the very beginning, and gets assistance for the kill. The bees are so difficult to deal with sometimes, and most of the time they're just annoying. I would say akin to like, well, not to bees in real life, more like hornets in real life. Those guys are annoying. Bees are great. This is just one of those moments where it really does have the final tick to get you over the edge right now.
Nope.
Achilles, no, not able to get him in time.
Oh, is
the
he
heal
dead?
was there. You take a tower shot. Relentlessone, unable to continue the chase, can't get the knockback. Doesn't have a lot of mana to work with either. Very dangerous game for Tegveer and the Hercules on the other side.
Yeah, I really thought RelentlessOne would just try and stick to him there. Throw out the boulder once he had the mana, or maybe even just the pull, but instead will release. Just happy to survive. Tegveer nearly able to find that kill for himself. The Kaolin Wardens finding a bit of equilibrium here in game 2 and a lead to boot. Gotta imagine pressure through mid is one of the best ways for the Kaolin Wardens to play right now. AMC, a phenomenal pressure pick, has high kill pressure as well thanks to the cripple on his ultimate, but he's also just playing against Janus, and Janus is lacking for all of that.
Griff eats a little bit of poke. Rotation in from Ratmilk, but not a good presence to be able to get anything done. Did pull Globe's ult, which flies through, doesn't hit anybody. So nothing too crazy that's going to happen there. I'm looking at the Hunbats now, though. Ratmilk, it feels like we see two kinds of Hunbats plays and players. But 90% of the time, they always have one thing in common, and that is that, hey, I've got ult, I can maybe try to do something. A lot of focus earlier. He would match Leon's rotations earlier today. Now he's over on right. I thought we were maybe going to see something. RelentlessOne seemed to be getting aggressive. Instead, it's in mid. Has to use the beats. You had just highlighted it, something that can be a struggle to deal with. PandaCat using the cripple. Almost locks it down. Sets him up for Shortfuse no matter what. 2-0 now for the Wardens.
Man, Globe just trying to hug the wall between his Tier 1 and Tier 2, and unfortunately for him, chooses the wrong wall to hug. RelentlessOne caught out. That stun perfect from Tegveer, to lock him down for as long as possible. And it looked like Ratmilk actually uses the beads there. Misclick. Should still have the damage to put him to execute. Threshold. Tegveer secures the kill. And We Ready show that they've got some fight back in them. Expect to see that frequently because RelentlessOne has gone for the greediest Hercules build I have ever seen. Vital Amplifier first slot in the breastplate, maybe? I mean, he hasn't finished up that second item, so we'll see.
Splendid Scepter. I had no idea what that tier 2 was called.
Could have given me 10,000 years, man. I wouldn't have got there.
You said Vital Amplifier, and I was like, yeah, that's the only thing in that. Well, not the only thing in that tree, but pretty much the only one that has been as big at this level. Keeping our eyes, I guess, on where that's going to go. Like you said, Greedy doesn't have a lot going for him right now.
No defense, no power, if we're being honest.
But beads used by Ratmilk maybe makes things a little more awkward. Doesn't have to worry too much about it, waiting for the ult to come online again anyway. As well as being able to stay alive over on left. Shortfuse has been playing aggressive, gets the 1-0-1, right? An assist earlier on the first blood, the kill. Diving that tier 1 that we just saw in mid. I don't know why my brain thought the Serqet was going to go over towards right. Instead, it's just some farm gain. Maybe a little bit of relaxation. River's Rebuke thrown up. Silence out from the Ganesha. Nothing too crazy happening on the left-hand side of the map. And Mifflin, this is the pace I feel like we're going to be going at. I see a couple Transcendences coming out. Devourer's Gauntlets being bought. It is Stack City on both teams. And as such, I think that's going to pump the brakes a little bit as to when we see some of the action.
Yeah, not a whole lot to get done just yet. You know, it doesn't necessarily need to be Vital Amplifier. I went to the worst possible assumption. That could still be like Caduceus Club.
Hey, there it is.
Or something like that. Was it the Caduceus Club? Finishes
It was
it
the
up.
Caduceus Club.
Gino in some trouble.
Slow.
There's the lockdown.
Has the Dharmic Pillars. That's the damage you need. Shipigami. You got to be careful putting him on Rom. He's going to do exactly this. 1-0. And it's a good start for it. A lot of ult investment. But a kill nonetheless on the Gino, and they force Griff to play safe.
Yeah, nice rotation as well. Gino just caught out maneuvering the jungle himself. Going to be a little while until this Yemoja is really tanky at all. Gone to Thieves in first slot. Takes a bit to stack that item up. Gone to Thieves for Ganesha on the other side, though. Means that you're not exactly lacking for the defensive stats comparatively. Difference is going to start to emerge in that second slot down the Adventurer's Blade tree, whereas it's probably just going to be Prophetic Cloak. Have to hit all three. Ah, it's not even enough.
Well, he stops Griff from backing. What? Look at happen. Oh, somebody made the call to fall back. It did not seem like it was Shippigami trying to get something done. Tegveer.
Whoa!
A little bit of trouble over here. Some good return damage. Forces Shortfuse to fall back. Ratmilk doesn't have the ult just yet. And so more so just another body to make sure that his carry stays safe. Good Riptide to bully
beads.
Globe. And it forces those beads. Now in the jungle, Ratmilk, PandaCat's hanging around there. 2-2. 9 minutes in, a big kill, something to maybe get an invade off of. Could be massive instead. A little too deep. Red buff stolen away by Gino. And so a good little play from the Wardens, just to put some pressure on We Ready.
Man, Globe he's looking a little nervous on this Janus. Those beads, not certain that really necessary to use them there, as well as losing out on that red buff to Gino. Could just drag that in his tower had he chosen. So it's the Kaolin Wardens. Maybe leaning on some of the name recognition of this team. Was considered to be one of the super teams going to the SEC this year as well. I mean, these are all guys that have been dominating at the SEC level for a very long time. Now with PandaCat as well. And if I got to explain to you who Maxime is, you haven't been paying enough attention. A world champion. Previous ADC for the Jade Dragons. Now playing mid for the Kaolin Wardens. But have struggled so far this phase to find consistent wins. And that's why they find themselves here at this event. We Ready cannot fall prey just to the names that they see on the other side. And so far, I've done a good job keeping pace. We Ready, that is. Shippigami in particular does not seem all that concerned with whoever he's lined up against. Griff loses the beads. That should be it, though.
Well, maybe a little bit of aggression on the other side. River's Rebuke to lock Hapn in. And here comes Shortfuse. That might change the pace of this fight. Ult from Globe is going to start a rotation. There's the Fear No Evil, so already Hapn dead, but the damage is going to be there. Shortfuse down. Snipe's good, but it's 2 for 1. The support falls for We Ready, but they pick up the jungle, the carry, and a little bit of pressure in duo.
Yeah, good rotation from Ratmilk's playing spoiler, the Kaolin Wardens jungle gank. Pressure in a tier 1 tower. They can knock it down if they want, but dropping it this early can be a bit of a double-edged sword. Same can be said in mid, though. PandaCat has not rotated, and why would he? He's been having so much fun in his 1v1. I know the level deficit might lead you to believe otherwise, but PandaCat has been absolutely dominating his lane as well. Now with no tier 1 on left, the Kaolin Wardens have the opportunity, and Griff has the opportunity, I should say, to just freeze lane at his tier 2. The same can be said in mid. But if you freeze mid, it's a little bit less value. It's so much more difficult for your mid laner to rotate out of lane. You want to have control of the center of the map, whereas freezing at tier 2 in left, who cares? You're still going to get to the gold free at around the same time.
Pyromancer right now for the Wardens is where their focus is at. They're going to pick that up. Big rotation for We Ready around the Gold Fury. They're going to start it. They are going to have a little bit of adversity over here. Geno, PandaCat rotating, but it's too slow from the Wardens. So objective for objective. Runic Bomb sitting in Shortfuse. Gold Fury over to We Ready. Mifflin, it's about 300 gold right now, separating these two teams slightly in favor of We Ready.
Yeah, it's a trend that's been established so far throughout the entirety of today. Early game leads, just hard to come by in these sets, these teams so evenly matched. It's come down to, in large part, the late game team fight, the 5-on-5 stack, who's playing their composition better, who's on top of the objectives. So far this set's been the Kaolin Wardens, but We Ready have gotten the better end here and there so far this game. As far as 5-on-5s are concerned, I really do like how We Ready's composition is going to play. Ratmilk on the Hun bots, of course, carrying a large bit of that expectations, but Hapn on the Ganesha, the Execute, and how that's going to play into the front line of the Kaolin Wardens. So long as you've got Anti-Heal and Divine Ruin already finished up for Globe, not the best applicator of Anti-Heal, but still certainly should find some value there. I'll be keeping my eyes on Hapn. Wouldn't be too surprised to see an Ankh pick up in second slot. It's the Kaolin Wardens. They want to pressure out here. They do.
So they got Blink. There's the Fear No Evil. Lockdown.
Got him.
Good Execute. Just as strong. They get Yemoja into the threshold in time, but the miss from Tegveer has to dodge it out, juking a lot right now to stay alive. And then you get Globe rotating in and making some massive plays between himself and Ratmilk. They get the kill on all 3 of the Wardens that are over and right, and they keep their solo alive in the meantime.
This Hunbots has just been on the ball so far, Gore. The ultimate placements, the rotations. He's exactly where his team needs him. Now putting some pressure towards the tier 1 tower. Could actually deal a Shortfuse if he gets a bit too uppity here. Taunt connects, but not with Hapn. Fortunately, Hapn doesn't connect his dash either, so Shortfuse loses the tower, but nothing else. The Kaolin Wardens. Still, though, not that far behind. I mean, gold, sure, 1,000 this late in the game. It's a couple wards in everybody's pockets, but no real separation. I think it's experience that's more important of the 2 stats, and you've got about a level on each role, 2 levels out of the jungle, and then parity towards support. Actually, a lead for Geno, who's soaked up a little bit more farm than what we've seen from Hapn. Geno sticking around mid a bit more often, whereas Hapn just hovers that jungle. I'll keep my eyes on the Oni Fury spawning up shortly. If that one goes to We Ready, and it might, if the Kaolin Wardens elect to just go ahead and split off and grab the Pyromancer themselves like we had seen previously. We Ready is starting to stack up enough damage in composition. They've got enough space control. Things can start to get south, get real ugly for the Kaolin Wardens.
Now already 4 kills behind. And while 700 gold isn't too much, the play on field is definitely leaving a little bit more to be desired in the groupings. Sometimes, though, it all changes in the blink of an eye. Pyromancer and the Fury going to be spawning 30 seconds and 40 seconds, respectively. So, grouping. And rotations. You know, we talk about rotations. I had talked to you about this earlier today because Globe played Janus then. One thing you're going to get from Janus, even though it might struggle a little bit against an AMC, I guess, in lane, is presence all around the board. And there were a couple ults that didn't connect in the earlier set, but if Globe hits, I mean, even just one in a good team fight, that changes the landscape of a lot of what you can expect going into any sort of fight. But it's going to be a Pyromancer right now, started up for We Ready. PandaCat, Shortfuse are in the neighborhood. Tegveer takes a little bit of damage, but it's for his team. And then the immediate retreat. A little bit of a silence from Hapn to make sure there's no follow-through from the Kaolin Wardens.
Yeah, if I were to load into this game and just look at compositions and have to guess which one of these teams is going to be more aggressive on objective, I thought it'd be the Double Hunter team.
Yeah.
Just grouping up, trying their best to burn them. But instead, it's We Ready at every turn, living up to their name once more. Just always prepared to take a fight around these neutrals. This time it's Tegveer out of the soul lane first. Gets the Aegis off PandaCat. No good damage from Globe. Should be able to disengage, though, with those beads. He's going all the way back to base.
Yeah, had to do the beads, though. And that has been the downside. Almost. I mean, he gets out of there. That health tick's a lot lower than I thought it was going to go. Manages to stay alive. Uses the ult. Unfortunately, it doesn't connect. Could have changed the entirety of that fight. And instead, like you said, sent all the way back to base. Both relics down. It's still going to get here pretty quickly because of the portal's movement speed and buffs that he has around there. Oni Fury's going to be the fight pick up from RelentlessOne. Good boulder. Gets some damage. Tegveer eats a lot of that up front. Ults still available for Ratmilk, so the Fear No Evil, and the snipes from Shipigami. At any given moment could come through. Oni Fury's getting low. Warden secure the Fury.
That's good.
That's going to be massive for him, but a great Fear No Evil pulls RelentlessOne right back in. Execute number 1 on the board for Tegveer. Now chasing him down, trying to get some low health bars. Tries to lead the way, goes for the damage, has the second one onto Geno, and starts himself off with a double kill. 2 now for 0. Little extra damage on the Shortfuse with the leap, and the mobility from the Serqet gets her out of there. And it is a 2 for Fury trade, balancing it out for it.
So surprised that Ratmilk actually survives that fight. The ultimate placement, amazing. Connects with 3, buys him a little bit more time, but was still taken to the air by Griff's ultimate, I thought would have died on landing. Instead, it's a surge forward from We Ready. It's not just Ratmilk making things happen. It's Tegveer putting out the damage, and those executes starting to find their way home. One of the more successful Achilles games we've seen in a long while.
Yeah, 4-0-2.
Shortfuse over the wall, no mobility and no HP. Ratmilk might have this.
Yeah, goes for the ult. Silence is there, beats for a little bit. Ratmilk teleports in, gets the auto, gets the kill. And I believe
Shipigami wants this too.
The buff Shipigami. Look, Shipigami, if the answer is, do you want to fight? Shipigami has one checklist, and the answer is yes. Does not matter what his health is. Does not matter what his relics are, where his ult's at. It just seems to be hold W mentality. And you know what? It's working for him, Mifflin. It's only, well, 2,000 gold. Not a lot separating them. But compared to the 700 prior to those fights, it's a small lead for We Ready that they've managed to cultivate just from clean play.
Yeah, very clean play, and that 10-3 is an impressive slash line.
Yeah.
I'd argue 10-3 should see a larger lead than this, though. Objectives have gone either way. I believe 1 gold free both teams, 1 pyro for either team. So neutrals largely even. Structures, slight advantage to the Kaolin Wardens who have maintained their tier 1 and mid, but I don't think enough to offset the 10 kills to the 3 of the Kaolin Wardens. Farming just a bit better here from the Wardens. Won't matter, though, if you can't win a fight, and how could they when they're all alone?
Shipigami rotates all the way over here. RelentlessOne juking in and out of walls to make sure he can dodge the execute, but it only buys so much time, and it's still a kill for We Ready. Now, in what's going to be a 5v4 Shortfuse with a good taunt. A little bit of damage from PandaCat as well. Separation from the teams. Snipes immediately onto the back line from Shipigami. Recognizes that, you know what, even a little bit of damage isn't going to do enough here. Honey spreads a little bit out there. I'm surprised to see the Wardens sticking around as heavily as they are. Pyromancer's up, and it is the easier option of the 2. Presence from the Wardens still hanging around. Ratmilk's low, and it seems like just that threat, the threat of the Wardens, is enough to make We Ready rethink some of their engagement. But Ratmilk has ult. Hanging around just outside of mid. And Mifflin, I thought they were going to jump in. Instead, it's a retreat from We Ready.
Yeah, Ratmilk and Hapn are just too low HP to fully engage there. The Kaolin Wardens had a bit more in the tank, and so call the bluff, show up to the Pyromancer, and take the Pyromancer for themselves. A Runic Bomb in pocket now for NotGeno. Will match the Runic Bomb in pocket for Hapn. So both supports sitting on 1,000 true damage come Siege Time or Fire Giant Dance or Gold Fury Dance. More likely the Gold Fury. At this point, neither side seems to have the confidence to just pull the largest neutral objective. So a fight likely to erupt on the left-hand side of your screen, but any fight this late in the game is never really about the Gold Fury. It's about whether or not you can find enough picks to actually look towards the Fire Giant. We'll see how that one pans out. Still haven't seen the massive Blink ultimate initiation from Ratmilk in the 5-on-5. Still haven't seen Shortfuse go for the classic Serqet, rope-a-dope, get in your back line, be a solo agent style of play either. So, a couple more plays in the back pocket for either of these teams. Game's just about even as well, Gory. I mean, it comes down entirely to play on field at this point. Experience looks good, doesn't it? Doesn't matter. Everybody's level 20, and if they aren't, they're getting there pretty soon. 2 levels here or there, but only difference would be upgrading your starters, and the only one who's done that so far, only ones, excuse me, are Globe and Tegveer. I called him Glove. What's wrong with me?
I could see why, though. I mean,
yeah, it's one
Globe
letter
is
off.
only 1 letter off. And if you look at the keyboard, they're right next to each other. That's like he's just one typo away from being.
You're right. You're right. He's probably typed Glove a few times on accident.
Right now, gloves are off.
Ooh, that's good.
Up 11-3, 22 in. This has been one of the more dominating performances. But like you said, maybe needs a little more in the gold department, especially after losing the last Pyro. Primal is now started up, but very tentatively at that. Picked, dropped, It's the fight that they want. Dharmic Pillars deep. Proc onto a few players. Ult just off the mark from Globe. Doesn't quite open up the opportunity they want, but the blinks to dive into the background. There's going to be Ratmilk trying to get people low, and once again it's Tegveer with the executes. That's opening up the door. Only gets 1 this time, but it is a big one onto the Yemoja. A lot of ults down. PandaCat, Shortfuse, RelentlessOne still have theirs. So Boulder, a threat. Same with the Stinger. Damage onto RelentlessOne just seems to be too solid right now. Not able to escape the portal. Locks him up and takes him down. Now Snipes gonna ring true. The shots are so good from Shipigami. He fights him over the walls. Now PandaCat forced to retreat. He just can't get out of here. Shortfuse might pick up 1, but at what cost? You're gonna jump in, and it might just be. It is the deicide. 23.5. Just before Geno can spawn in. Unfortunately, Mifflin, they have to back there, but it's not because they're too low. It's because they want that Fire Giant.
15 seconds on nearest respawn. Going to take a good long while to walk all the way to the right side of the map. And so We Ready have got plenty of opportunity. And I'm seeing a similar issue here in this set as I saw in the previous one. Shippigami's free casting. You can't let this guy free cast in your backline. Hunters do way too much damage right now, especially with this yellow numbers build, with all that penetration starting to stack up. Geno in some trouble, decides to turn around. Geno could spend the next 40 seconds of the grayscale thinking about that one. Maybe he's just trying to get HP bar on the Fire Giant, I suppose. He got it. RelentlessOne throws out the boulder. He doesn't get it. Fire Giant to 5 of We Ready, with some questionable support plays to boot.
You know, there's a lot of
Why did he turn around?
Yeah, you know, I wish I could tell you.
We'll ask him later.
Yeah, and the post-game interview.
Yeah.
We'll break it down with him. 2-0-9 for the carry, as opposed to 0-2-1. 0-2-12 for the support, as opposed to 0-5-1. And you see a little like that degree of separation in every role, but Mifflin 8-0-5 for the Achilles versus 0-5-0 for the Hercules. It's, I mean, the team fight diff right now for We Ready.
You think his build might be bad?
Has been better. Do you mean the Hercules?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Is it?
Yeah, it's not very good. There's not a whole lot of protections in that build. Not a whole lot at all. It's kind of just a movement speed build, if we're being honest, and pray that you land a punch and that the rest of your team's got the damage. He is not exactly doing the most damage, and he's not exactly tanky. And the second anti-heal hits him, he's even less tanky.
An anti-heal, by the way. Divine Ruin, Brawlers, they've got a little bit of it. Just to make sure you've got that, you got it handled if you are We Ready. Fire Giant power play going well. Globe has to use the beats and a little disengage for the portal. Tier 2 on left gets taken down. Primal Fury seems to be the call. Minute 19 left on the power play, so they've got a little wiggle room to try and get things to work. But this has been the pace of these games so far today, Mifflin. Although this one, I will say, much faster in terms of kill count. Now gold lead, blooming up to 7,000 in favor of We Ready. But with 2 towers still standing on the Wardens, it becomes a little more difficult, even at this rate, to try and break into that, take down the base with the Fire Giant and make those big swings.
But base siege, not exactly what this composition is built for,
Yeah.
for We Ready. And that's just a Janus thing. That's just not having a standard mage. You're going to struggle a little bit at just throwing damage into these enclosed spaces or leveraging the portals that Janus is so reliant on to reposition in some of these fights. Otherwise, everyone else on this comp, very good on siege. Ratmilk for displacement. Hapn for the exact same thing. Creates that no-play zone with his Dharmic Pillars. Tegveer has had the most successful Achilles game I've seen in a long time. 8-0-5, 13 out of 17 effective kills, and 6 of them had to be executes, just finding their way home. Good silence on the RelentlessOne. Just stops that push. Shiπigami safe.
Now the chase is on. Snipes should be ringing through, as well as an ult from Globe. The repositioning. They get the last hit onto Griff. Perfect from Shiπigami to keep things rolling forward. Damage onto Shortfuse. He's low. All you need is a little bit from Ratmilk here. Deep, deep, deep. And at that point, just a distraction. Same thing for Tegveer. Might go down because of the Phoenix damage. RelentlessOne finally puts one on the board. But it has cost 2 of their damage dealers and a tier 2. Perfect. Just in time, 30 seconds before the Fire Giant respawns. Damage from Shiπigami through the wall. Held in with PandaCat. Pushed up. That's a great kill for the Wardens. And maybe a necessary one to make sure this doesn't get out of hand.
Yeah, some massive shutdowns there. Tegveer gives over 1,000 gold to whoever kills him. Shiπigami gives over a lot as well. And with Fire Giant on the mend, it's a great time for the Kaolin Wardens to find those picks. RelentlessOne, maybe not tanky, maybe doesn't deal damage. Plenty fast to catch Globe, though. Sends him back to base in a body bag. PandaCat, credit for this kill. And now it's desync deaths for We Ready. Backline, 30 seconds on Shiπigami, a minute on Globe. Tegveer just now rejoining the land of the living. And Fire Giant on the chopping block.
Meanwhile, Wardens respawned and ready. 4 of them in the FG pit. Looks like Ratmilk and Hapn are backing away, letting this one go. Have to still play carefully over here, but the Warden's going to secure this Fire Giant. They're going to secure it pretty free. Still 19-7 in favor of We Ready. It's still 6,000 gold now in favor of the Order team. But Mifflin is now 5 strong with the Fire Giant on the other side. And their chance to show us what they have.
We'll see. Siege much better for the Kaolin Wardens.
Oh, yeah.
Double Hunter composition. I mean, they are going to shred structures. Unfortunately for them, they're about a minute too early for it to be EFG, so we'll still have to struggle with those backdoor protections. Otherwise, I am concerned for the front line's ability on the Kaolin Wardens to be a front line in these enclosed spaces. Movement speed builds are not a new thing, and it's not necessarily bad, but we've seen it on Tier, we've seen it on Hercules in the past. It really does struggle when you need to be the guy tanking the Phoenix, when you need to be the guy creating space, because juking in these enclosed spaces is not nearly as powerful as it is in like the open jungle. So taking a fight here, just much better for the Wardens.
And so far it's working out pretty well. Low health for Hapn, thrown back by the Serqet. Shortfuse gets caught out a little bit. RelentlessOne doesn't connect on the push, does get the knock up. Snipes right now from Shiπigami. Get a little bit of damage out there, but the last 2 don't connect. So it's a retreat now from We Ready. A little bit of poke, good knockback avoidance from Tegveer. And if the team and the goal right now is just to salvage as much time as possible, they've done so. Still lost to Tier 2 on the left. Phoenix defense suddenly comes into question here as the Wardens don't back away. Continue getting aggressive, and it is RelentlessOne leading the way, taking a lot of damage in the process. Has to fall back. The healing is there. And that has been keeping this solo lane alive. Went from 0-5-0 to 1-5-2.
What a glow up.
And hey, I mean, that's a 1-0-2 over a team fight that mattered. We'll see if he can keep it going. Takes a lot of poke. The Phoenix is there, and GIobe just gets deleted thanks to GIobe. Now the go button is there for We Ready. RelentlessOne is running away. The build's good for move speed, and it's going to get him out of here, but Geno gets locked down. The Riptide barely enough to get him away. And it's a surge forward one more time. Janus trying to get some things done. The shell has been used. The dashes are there. They don't care about the front line. They want the carries. They get both. Shortfuse jumps into the back, finds Shiπigami. A great kill, but it is costing you everything at this rate. It's just the Hercules and the Serqet alive. Mobility seemingly going to save them both, but you lose 3 around the Phoenix, and the Fire Giant goes with them.
Great ultimate there by Ratmilk to prolong this game. Keeps RelentlessOne stuck in the tower. Good CC. Damage is there.
Oh my
Short
God.
fuse credit. Does GIobe have the chase? Certainly does. And knocks him down. Now, has RelentlessOne done too much? It's time to run.
Dharmic Pillars. Oh my God, the damage from GIobe!
Yeah, he's squishy.
It's not just the ult, the kill on the Shortfuse, that already feels great. You had already mentioned it, not a lot of protections there for RelentlessOne. And that might just be the best example we're going to get of that all game.
So it turns out what little protections he has, shredded by Dharmic Pillars, and then eviscerated by GIobe with a shotgun blast.
That guy also
point
has
blank.
an ability that makes his stuff hit harder.
Yep. Here's the thing about Janus. He's gonna do a lot of damage to RelentlessOne in the near future. Who's like to finish his build with a little bit of physical defense. So, We Ready have learned now what the answer to Hercules is, and it's just have GIobe be there, and that'll do it. I wonder what the 1-2 combo on its own will do to this Herc. Probably like 60%. Surely like 60%. If we're lucky, we'll see it.
60% sounds right, though, based on what we just saw. PandaCat deleted! I mean, look, it's a fear no evil for him, but it's an easy trade. GIobe immediately taken out. The carries left out to dry.
Oh, can they stop the back?
Of their frontliners here. Geno gets out of there. So, Shortfuse, RelentlessOne, it's up to them. EFG on the line. Great kills for We Ready. 26-9. Boulder over the wall. It's just a little too early. Fire Giant goes onto all 5 of We Ready. And Mifflin, they don't like the fact that they lost game 1. They are going to drag the Wardens out as long as they can. They've got 20 seconds, though, to work with right now to try and break the base open, see if they can get something working before the Wardens are full power. Take down the mid.
They go for it?
They're going to be walking in. Good pushback, double pushback from RelentlessOne. But it does not stop We Ready. They've got 10 seconds. The damage is going to be there. Are they just going to go for it right here and right now? They've got a lot to work through in terms of health bars, but they're doing as much as they can. It seems like the CC and now the presence from the Wardens is enough to throw them back. But a great shot from GIobe. It's going to get healed up. PandaCat just has to walk away. It's a small TKO. It doesn't seem like it's enough here. They want it. They want it badly. They're still going to make the smart play, fall back before they do anything too ambitious.
Perfect placement on that Rivers Rebuke Gore. Just make sure that Ratmilk could not sink any damage into the Titan, separates him from the fight entirely, force use that leap defensively.
Uh-oh.
And a pick here, I mean, that's just the siege gone, right?
Well, they grabbed
Whoa!
What a huge fear no evil from Ratmilk! And now the damage is there. Snipes from Shiπigami. They trade 1 for 2. They do lose Ratmilk, so it evens out a little more. RelentlessOne's leading the way, though. And it might not be enough. Not tanky in the build. And there's going to be a stun. You have to imagine soon coming in from the Achilles. They're going for the Phoenix. A little bit of damage. Shiπigami still full HP. Unable to find anything there. 2 for 2 is the trade. Great play. They're going to go for more GIobe. Goes in. Shotgun blast onto PandaCat. Just trying to keep his team in a conversation here, Mifflin. And if the conversation is for entertaining gameplay, they've got it, man. It has been exciting to watch We Ready. And if you're going to keep making plays like that out of nowhere, man, I don't mind that it's gone 35. And good news for anyone else who's in that boat. We're probably going to be going a little further. Minute left on the Fire Giant power play now. 2 minutes before it respawns. Not a whole lot of wiggle room to get something done with it.
No, and left side bird down to 50%. God, we ready. We're so close. We want to knock that one down. Just need a little bit more space for Shippigami. Regardless, mid Phoenix taken. Left side halved. Primal Fury available. 30 seconds left on the Fire Giant power play. 3 members with it on their waist. We ready can essentially have pick a field. Do you want Pyro or do you want Fury? As of now, it's neither, as they've just reset once more. Said it's vision, I suppose, at the peak of their mind. A couple wards in pocket. 2 sentries, 1 normal. Whereas on the other side, the Kaolin Wardens, all they have to do to get the ward vision dominance is show up to wherever they want to see, because they have all got sentries in pocket. Plenty of wards in pocket for the Kaolin Wardens. And even looking at wards on map, not a whole lot from either side. Kaolin Wardens won't be easy, but push up through mid, drop some wards on your way, do all right.
No, maybe you'll hear the pain in my voice as this is speaking from experience. But sometimes when you're warding, things can go very wrong very fast. You have to do it very carefully, as you had mentioned. It won't be easy, but some vision here can make a big difference. You just have to not get caught out. And that goes doubly for the front line, sometimes lulled into a false sense of security. They're going to be needed in 30 seconds. A death here means you won't be around for the Fire Giant. So we ready? Playing a little further back, I see a couple of upgrades coming through. Wards that have been dropped from the inventory, now back and bought in the inventory. Whereas they're all a little deeper if you're the Kaolin Wardens right now, trying to make sure that your side of the jungle isn't warded up by We Ready, and that you're going to be safe walking up to the FG. PandaCat and Griff may be having flashbacks to the last Fire Giant fight. Fire started up by We Ready. 37.5 in. Enhanced one more time. It's the fight afterward that's going to make a bigger difference. Shippigami up into the air. Hits all 3 shots onto Griff. And look, it doesn't matter that you don't get the kill. You have zoned him out and stalled this Heimdallr from getting into the engagement. But it doesn't mean that he's not going to get back in here. Griff, with a little help from Lifesteal in the build, is going to get back up to a manageable health point. And a little bit of healing from the squad gets him there. And Mifflin, we're back at a standstill.
Yeah, neither side has used too much there. Dharmic Pillar is maybe the most significant teamfight tool off the back of We Ready, whereas Griff, his own ultimate, used defensively. The Kaolin Wardens, still River's Rebuke, Stinger, plenty of anti-heal available from that Serqet. I'll be keeping my eyes on Shortfuse, makes contact with Tegveer. Damage is not quite there. He's got a lot of resources off him.
There's going to be the River's Rebuke to lock him in. They're doing a lot of damage, or at least at first they were. Now, seems like he's going to be fine. Knock up, good. Push back, better. And that's going to be the ult. Now used as a disengage. Ratmilk tries to go in, get something done. Fear No Evil works a little bit. The damage is not there. The Wardens, they might be down in kills, Mifflin, but they are there in spirit and there in force around the Fire Giant. Tegveer back, teleported in. Is here to try and fight this one off. Fire Giant's half health. Shortfuse is on the left-hand side. Looking for a deep dive. Shippigami walks with his team very far in, uses the beads early to avoid the push. Gets a lot of good damage out there. Snipes gonna come out, and this time he does just kill off Griff. Finds exactly what he needs, and then they're just gonna take the Fire Giant. We ready? Get this one. It's enhanced, and it's Shortfuse right now. Gone. Shippigami finds 3 in the fight. What a beautiful play from the carry. He said we weren't saying his name enough. Puts his mark on this game, and with a surge forward, with only 2 now left to defend, it's going to be the damage, the kill onto PandaCat to really help cement this one. Final nail in the coffin. It's Geno, and it is a win here and a tie game, tie set for We Ready.
Shippigami must be stopped, Gore. You gotta stop him. This is 2 sets now. 2 sets now on this ROM where he has just done it all for his team. The ultimate to make sure Griff isn't allowed to play in the initial Fire Giant fight. Beautiful. The second ultimate to make sure Griff isn't allowed to play. End sentence. Beautiful. I mean, the ROM pick has just suited Shipigami so well. The only thing that's going to stop him is the bans.
Man, we're going to see it again when we get to the post-game stats after that break, but there was not a bad slash line on the side of We Ready.
No.
Even the worst one was 0-3, and you have to cover up the assist column to make it look bad. That was just well played, Wardens. Again, 42 minutes to win Game 1, about the same length to win Game 2 here for We Ready. And Mifflin, it puts a lot of pressure on it. That means one game away. If We Ready can win the next one, they get in. And that's going to be the conversation. If they lose the next one, then we're in a different conversation. So the Wardens, a little bit of pressure mounting on them. We'll see what they do right after this quick break.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, come on. They try, but they can't get rid of me. I keep on coming with energy. I keep on bringing that energy. Energy. I feel on top of the top. I think outside of the box. I won't fall into that box. Energy. Live up to my name. Go wrong, take the blame. Never wanted other fame. I stay away from that lane. I can still wake up and ball out. All in my court, I go ball out. Look at my baby go all out. Energy. Yeah, come on. Come on. I could write this in my sleep. Say you don't sleep, but I sleep. That's why you're sleeping on me. Why? Energy. Don't say a word or a peep. Me, I'm just me, I'm me. I keep it true, I don't see. You know I'm nice, I'm not rude. Got no time for attitudes. Energy. Yeah, come on. Yeah, come on. Yeah, come on. Yeah, come on. Baby girl love my bop and I like me too. No roof on my top and my babe see through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, they ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you. Baby girl love my bop and I like me too. No roof on my top and my babe see through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, they ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you. Big flex, my swole up. Double cup and I'm pulled up. Hating like hold up. What's the problem? I'm pulled up. Big flex, my swole up. Hard body, they fold up. Shorty say I done glowed up. Double text on my phone up. With your boy, I'm the man of the year. I'm not a fan of your peers. Serve him a fate, I'ma hand him the shears. He not the man of your peers. Heart of a lion, I'm trampling fears. I love the man in the mirror. Cry me a river to stand in the tears. You better stand in the clear. I'm going crazy, fugazi. How would they ever go with a kid? Put it on, baby. You do not faze me, boy. I do not.
Well, it's tied up here 1-1, and the landscape of today changes based on this next game. Score, it's Mifflin, and it could be the final game. It could be one of a start of tiebreakers, depending on how things go. And we are all excited, I think, to be watching. We ready. Just now taking that last one, Mifflin. And maybe a little longer than we would have liked in terms of Link. There were definitely a lot of good fights from the Kaolin Wardens that stopped We Ready from being as aggressive. It's that one call, that Titan Room Siege, where I believe you had called it, Geno throws up a good River's Rebuke to just stall out and stop what was a really good play from We Ready. And that moment, I think, added a little bit of time to the game, but it didn't seem to stall out the storm too much. They were just aggression. I mean, kills-wise, we'll see it in a second. It was absolutely insane.
Yeah, I think the Wardens, interesting in that they got trounced in the early game. What was the slash line? 10-4?
Yeah, I mean, here
at
it's 14
one point.
to 3.
Just
24-9.
Absolutely trounced, right, in kills. But we're not so far removed in Goldener experience. That didn't come until much later in the game. Experience was the larger of the two factors at about 6,000 at its peak, and even then, everybody on the Wardens was already level 18, somewhere in there. So not so concerned with their ability to farm out. And I think it's likely an issue of veteranship. The Wardens have just been playing for much longer. Each one of these players has been in the scene for much longer than each member of We Ready. But they weren't quite in it for the team fight. The fights were lacking for the Wardens. So even though they were able to farm up well and keep themselves in it, didn't matter because they'd show up to the next team fight 2k down and still lose it, or doesn't matter that you're not so far removed. You need to be able to take the PvP as well as the PvE. And We Ready, I mean, they won out on PvP everywhere.
10-2, 9-3, 6-2, 8-2, 0-3, but with 25 assists, and that's not even counting the double-digit assists on everybody else. Shi'igami takes top damage in the game, but is much closer in that conversation. There was actually a point in that game before the end. Shi'igami's a normal slash line, right? It was like 4-2 and something, nothing too crazy.
That's pretty normal.
Meanwhile, you had like 6-2, 8-2, 9-2.
Well, those are extraordinary.
And those were standing out, and I was like, hey, you know what? This is like a good... You go 35 minutes of that game, maybe a little less, and it is a good showcase that this team has a lot more than maybe what we've been highlighting, and I think they proved it, and I think we'll continue to prove it here, and potentially picks and bans. But Shi'igami has definitely been above and beyond every single game that we have watched today. The rest of the team is just phenomenal. I mean, we're giving them shout-outs earlier when they needed it or deserved it, despite their KDAs not matching it. That time their KDAs matched the play. I can easily say I'm really excited to see what We Ready have to offer for this one. Kaolin Wardens will be the first pick team, though, and change up the pace of things. Nox, Vamana on the other side. Guan Yu, Marty are the bans so far. We get the Achilles. First and foremost, look, if you're going to go first pick, you got to have a good reason for it, and not only do you prove that it was a good first pick for you, but you also force them to ban it. That feels really good. Ban out the Hachi if you're We Ready. But then it's a Cernunnos, and you're furrowing your brow because of it.
Yeah, I just wasn't expecting Kern this highly prioritized. I thought if there was going to be a hunter pick, it'd be to take away the Ram, which has probably a combined KD of around 56 and 100 in this event alone. But instead of the Ram, and how could I have known? How could anybody have known? Instead, it'll just be an easy pickup of the Izanami. Some piercing autos, little CC, a dash over walls, so you're not worried about maybe some structures from enemy gods. Surprised it wasn't the Ram, if I haven't made that explicitly clear.
Yeah. Step aside. Still double hunter.
Still double hunter.
Izanami could be a mid player. You never know. Horus, Serqet gets locked in alongside that Cernunnos. And it's going to be the Ganesh run back over here. The Izanami matchup, not just the things you had said, but specifically up against like the Cernunnos. Like, how does that interaction work out?
Well, I don't think either one's got like an explicitly good matchup.
Yeah, they're just playing hunters.
Yeah, they're just playing hunters. One hunter is going to be restricted in the boxing potential, in that Iza doesn't really want to box unless she's in wave or she has her stim activated. If she's in wave, she's going to hit you in the wave at the same time. That's Izanami's bread and butter. That's what makes her very difficult to deal with. You can't stop her pressure. She's going to stand on top of you no matter what. It's when the waves aren't there and the stim starts to come into the equation, and whether or not those auto attack boomerang shots are hitting on both the to and fro to be determined. But as far as the direct lane matchup, it's not as if one has a greater matchup. I'd say 5-5 between the two of them.
Well, you ban Janus, you ban Zeus, and unfortunately for We Ready, oh man, they get Baba Yaga.
Eset.
It's great for them. On the other side, ban out Merlin and Terra.
Also Eset mid.
And like you said, locked in Ratatoskr alongside the Eset. Been a while since we've... Who's solo then? Rat?
Wow.
They've...
Man,
I mean,
the Wardens have hit the nuclear button here. We've taken the nuclear option. You gotta figure something out.
RelentlessOne and this is a really weird combination of players, but RelentlessOne and Variety have liked Rat solo before.
Yeah, I mean, Rat solo's okay. It's like, all right.
Yeah. I guess against
it could be
Thor
Serqet
solo.
support, Horus solo,
Yeah.
Rat jungle, you know.
Hey, you know what?
Eset in mid.
What if we just find out by jumping in the game?
That'd be great.
And see exactly where they go. Some interesting drafts. I mean, we didn't even get to highlight heavily the double assassin on one side. Thor in the solo lane for Tegveer.
Up against the Rat in the solo lane for RelentlessOne. Just play jungle, you weirdos. Just switch roles. Like you solo laners want to be junglers so bad.
Tegveer just had a really great warrior game too. The Achilles gets taken.
Whole great set.
Had to go to the Thor. Hercules, I believe, was also something he played earlier that was really adept and really fun to watch. So we'll see what that does. That means that suddenly the solo lane gets a little more interesting. Just because Warriors' first couple of levels, maybe kill potential. Assassins, there's going to be some kill potential there for a while. Got to be careful about the Serqet, though. Shortfuse. Playing it twice in a row, going to be warmed up on that god after a really lengthy game, too. Then double down on that. Just feels good early game.
Yeah, I think the solo lane matchup is interesting, Gore. One, Rat is just good into Thor. Like, that's just a good matchup for Rat. You can use your Acorn Blast in response to Hammer Toss. Catch him out every single time. Chase down potential with the dart. You got to slow on that ability. Yeah, your second ability, having all that defense shred on it, means that once you do inevitably start stacking up some of that defense, Rat's going to get more value from his than you are on the Thor. The only thing Thor has going for him is poke potential. Thor can hang back in that lane, stand at max distance, and just continually poke with double tap on Hammer, and then let a couple waves into his tower. He's going to sacrifice farm for your enemy's HP, just like this. And eventually, that's going to be threatening enough once you start getting some points in a Hammer that RelentlessOne's going to have to start figuring something out. That's assuming RelentlessOne doesn't go a sustain build, though. You can get, like, I don't know, Healing Acorn, Soul Eater, and all of a sudden you could take that bit of poke every single time and not be concerned about it ever and also still win out in the 1v1. So we'll see. Bit of a timer on Tegveer. Just not a fun lane matchup. Hands him the L. Does not hand him the death.
Look, if you're PandaCat, you juked out the ability. It feels really great. They then have the ability chase after you is always one of the more, I'll say maybe, I guess, frustration points. If you're playing against a Baba Yaga, it can definitely cause you a lot of trouble. Maybe another level, and that's a death. But as you mentioned, he stays alive here. Shortfuse might have bit off more than they can chew, though. Slowed down by Ratmilk. Level 3 versus level 3, waiting on cooldowns.
He's out. There's no way.
You've got
0%.
blink if you're Ratmilk.
No way.
He's going to keep chasing.
Shortfuse is going to use his leap. Watch
rotating
this.
in. Yeah, Shortfuse has all his cooldowns back at this point. But there's going to be the stun on the wall. There's going to be the overhand smash. The damage is there.
No way.
And they get first blood, and they're looking for a little more. This one comes over. Good stun from PandaCat. Make sure things go their way. Tegveer, unfortunately, overstays his welcome. Can't get out.
It.
And now, knock-up has to be here for the Rat. Finds it, gets the kill, and it's a double for RelentlessOne.
I mean, awesome bait. Like, actually cool bait by Shortfuse. Buys time. Could have leaped out. Could have blinked out. Could have done a lot of things to survive. But he wanted to drag them as far in towards that right side of the map as he could. Wanted to make sure everybody was stepping far enough up so that PandaCat or RelentlessOne could pit bait it. I love the idea. Feels like he still didn't need to die for it. Regardless, get the double. Doesn't matter. Clean play. Shortfuse gets to maintain his blink as well, so ability to get involved on map. I'm looking at builds here, and I had thought RelentlessOne would be the only one picking up a Soul Eater, but Tegveer seems to have eyes for it himself, wants to match some of the assumed sustain that RelentlessOne's going to pick up later. Surprised that RelentlessOne also just hasn't finished up his acorn just yet. Rat's allowed to build items from outside of base. Only one item, and it is that acorn. Instead, he just doesn't have the gold just yet for it. You'd think he would, though, with the First Blood double kill. No, excuse me, just double kill. First Blood was on to Shortfuse himself. Tegveer's in some trouble here. No hammer, no chance.
No mana.
He's all right. He's all right.
No hammer.
Level up your acorn. Do it.
And now Mifflin wants more blood in the solo lane. Like you said, First Blood goes over to Ratmilk. 2 kills right after for RelentlessOne. And it is a level lead for the Ratatoskr as well over the Thor. And the interesting thing is, most of the time, Mifflin, we don't get to see, like, even when you have a Thor or a Rat solo, you might see them go ult for ult. Maybe there's some matchups like that, but you don't really get to see them have a team fight impact this early. And so getting the ult when RelentlessOne did to be able to have a rotation like that's massive. It's going to be the thick bark acorn as well. You had mentioned maybe going for some sustain.
That's it. That's the one.
That's a sustain.
There you go. And more protections as well. Thick bark. A decent place to be. 2% HP back when you land your ability. And protections stolen are added to you. It's almost like turning your second ability into like a miniature Nemesis ultimate.
Yeah.
You just don't get the additional movement speed from it. But I don't think going to be a concern at any point. You know, we haven't talked about it a whole lot because the solo lane has just been the most interesting place to look for, but there is still an Eset mid, which is substandard. I would like to see the Kaolin Wardens try and leverage that in towards objectives. Eset is the goddess of objectives. Click on her history page in SMITE, it'll say the goddess of magic. She invented it, something, this, that, or the other. Nope. She's just really good at making sure neutrals go your way. Turns them into a no-play zone, gives you massive damage, instant confirmed damage, as well as a burst of healing on the tail end. Just miserable to fight into, so long as they can get to the objective first. And PandaCat's been playing for a good long while and played Eset ADC back in the day.
Yeah.
I think he fully understands the power curve of this god.
You know, it still, I think, falls under, Goddess of Magic. If you watch carefully and played appropriately, she'll make objectives disappear.
I hate that. I hated that. I hate how much you liked that, too.
And I not only that, I was real excited to say it, too.
I looked over there, and I saw you cooking something up. You were cooking for sure. You burnt it, though.
Yeah. Well, I never said I was a great chef. It's still going to be a fun god to watch. In the right hands, it can change a lot of damage here onto the Rat. RelentlessOne playing a little carefully. Damage from Ratmilk. Not able to chase up into the tree. Re-engage from RelentlessOne. Disengage this time from Ratmilk. So aggression from the Wardens right now. Playing deep in the jungle of We Ready.
Yeah, I mean, the RelentlessOne's just so far ahead that it makes sense that he's trying to proxy waves there. But I really, and I'm going to keep saying it until it happens, I just think Eset is so strong on objective. You're almost just so weighted on the coin toss that it's willing to, or should be willing to just walk in towards it. Instead, though, more PvP-minded play style here as Griff, one auto attack takes away the neutral camp. Shipigami gets to walk away with his tails tucked. And Griff makes it look easy. I mean, that was incredibly simple. Haven't had a look at the dual lane just yet. And I don't want to anymore because I don't think they're going to fight over there. But as far as scaling is concerned, both of them fine in the late game. Maybe a little bit better in the 5-on-5 if you're talking about like team fight presence. Griff's got that massive AoE bit of CC. Going to be hard for a Dark Portal from Shippigami to match that output.
That has been one that I was interested in picks and bans, and then you'd kind of highlighted one of them doesn't want to box intentionally. Shippigami in that position. Feels crazy after seeing the ROM games. I want to see what Shippigami can do on this pick. RelentlessOne, again, trying to get some damage. And does successfully steal away
Yikes.
a blue buff. Tegveer, unfortunately, predicts the wrong way. And it looks like this Rat should just get out of here. Chase is still there from We Ready. So what will they do with it? Well, Mifflin, unfortunately, it all flutters out for them. They're just going to have to fall back, pick up what they can.
Yeah, I like the idea. And if the ultimate connects, obviously an easy pickup. Where are we headed? Delivers the minion wave to the jungle. I'm stun locked. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to figure out what.
I think originally there was a plan for an Eset to be joining him, and PandaCat just didn't get there in time.
Maybe. But if that's the case, where are you going to? I mean,
yeah, I don't have the answer for that part. I just I think there was more that we're supposed to go.
I want you to. I'm gonna run you through like my PEMDAS there. I'm like, okay, he's channeling ultimate. He's in the center of the wave. Okay, he's gonna deliver the minion wave. Which structure are we sieging? How could he do it? We're 8 minutes in. He's just having fun. He's just like, maybe he's just trying to like get rid of those minions. I believe they walked between the tier 1 and tier 2 there, so maybe GIobe just misses out on a little farm. 3 minions lost. Sure.
Sometimes it happens. And unfortunately for Geno, we caught it on camera, and there wasn't too much afterward. It's the other side right now, though. We ready. We had asked for more macro play, because despite their kills,
they're just going to do it?
the gold lead. And
this is going to be free?
They're just going to do it. There's an Eset within like 100 units of them. Does not matter. We ready? Walk up. They do the Fury. They get the Fury, and now they might even find something afterward, Geno. It was relatively deep. Do they want the fight, though, is the question.
Should be all right. He's got a teleport target.
Well, we ready, have him locked down. PandaCat standing over the wall so we can try to get the dash. And there it is to make sure he stays out of there. So no kills, nothing too crazy. But we ready. Take a small lead away from the Wardens and over to themselves because of the Fury.
Yeah, now desyncing the neutral objectives. We ready should be able to jump on that Pyromancer if they so choose. Still feels like we're talking about a world where the Kaolin Wardens should have advantage around neutral objectives just by nature of circle protection. So we ready, opportunistic, able to grab that gold Fury with 0 fight back. If there was any, it'd go differently.
Oh my God.
Where'd he go?
Well, now it's retreat time if you're the Wardens. 2-2 for the kills. With the delete button there, unfortunately just a little off the mark there for Tegveer on the ult. How lockdown do they got? RelentlessOne gonna get pulled into an engage. What a great wall! What a great hammer as well! And that is how you set them up and block them away. We ready. Pick up 2 clean kills, and you had mentioned to jump on the Pyromancer. They jump on it immediately. Geno's hanging out over here. What can he do? Wall not good enough. We ready. Pick up the Pyro. And Geno uses PandaCat to get out of there as soon as he can.
Man, PandaCat, he did a whole lot of damage in Game 1. I believe top damage in the lobby at 50,000. So far here in Game 2, has been doing just fine, holding his own in lane, farming up very well, controlling the mid camps when they respawn. Has not gotten overly involved in the PvP. It seems like the game is almost happening around him. I mean, keep your eyes on it. It's often not Geno trying to invade a camp and then he dashes over the wall to rejoin PandaCat, or RelentlessOne trying to invade a camp and then PandaCat has to rotate over and trying to defend him as well. Seems like the Kaolin Wardens are trying to play everywhere but the actual center of the map, that actual mid lane where you can play around that 2v2 or 3v3, put pressure into the bastions or look towards the tower. Just has not been their MO. And so, PandaCat, who is... I want to just say straight up the win condition of the Kaolin Wardens. I feel like he's a little underutilized here.
Well, and you had mentioned, the big presence that we at least expected of an Eset around objectives. That's like the whole thing that she brings.
Used to be, at least.
Wing Gust is really good. Your stun, the
Spirit Ball is like her best ability besides her ultimate.
Not only that,
it
scales really well as well, because I think it does
Third
like
best ability.
1.5 damage at max range. So if you're hitting them long range, you're doing a lot. Your silence feels really good in the right circumstances. But the ultimate is the thing that everyone's going to talk about with you. And while we've seen a couple of ults maybe dropped, we have not seen the objective play from anyone that isn't we ready. Now we're seeing them make big plays. Shortfuse low. GIobe, the ability almost curves in the right direction, but unable to find the last hit there.
That's good damage.
RelentlessOne is low, Shortfuse is low, and both TKO'd. And that is all you need sometimes, Mifflin. Create a little bit of space and see what you can do to work with on it. It was almost maybe even a rotation over to the duo lane. And it makes sense for pressure to be up over there. Fury going to be spawning in. 30 seconds. RelentlessOne taking a fight. Stunned out. Hammer does not get the double tap. And this might cause some trouble. Up into the air for Tegveer.
Insta-dunk, go for it. You want
And
it.
he goes for it. Unfortunately, off the mark there. Hammer
Okay.
doesn't connect, but there's the spin, and there's the kill. Stun to get out. No mana to work with, but has a teammate around in Ratmilk. Ratmilk does not have ultimate just yet. And they're just trying to stay alive. Tegveer does go. And it looks like Ratmilk slowly but surely will make his way out of there. Keep that one in a 1-for-1 trade.
Man, everybody's playing for their egos right now, looking for the 1v1s. Globe uses the beads to avoid the stun, but does not have the range to secure his kill. NotGeno, just Genoing towards that right side tier 2. I don't think even if he connected, he would have had the damage to take the fight. Another 1v1 on the left side of your map. This time it's Shippigami up against Griff. Griff dashes away, loses out on the fight, in spite of having a slight lead in the lane. Doesn't seem to matter. And after all that hustling and bustling, not a whole lot to show for it at the end of the day. We ready now, 1,000 gold up. Have just had advantage on neutral objectives. So long as Ratmilk has got ultimate, I don't see that changing anytime soon. Tegveer has been getting the better end of his 1v1 since the early game. RelentlessOne, like for the first 4 levels, was really benefiting. Since then, has slowed down a whole lot. Still working on those Transcendent stacks, not quite as tanky as Tegveer, and Tegveer actually out-sustains RelentlessOne thanks to that Soul Eater pickup. And so, we ready. I'd love to see what they can get accomplished around this Oni Fury. PandaCat's gone unchecked so far this game, 0-0-1. Hasn't been overly involved in the fight, but you got to deal with him eventually.
You want to talk about not involved so far. Griff and Shippigami have been on an island. Both
fighting each other, though.
Triple goose eggs. Yeah, a lot of damage between each other. Nobody able to find the kill just yet. Might change here in mid.
Free.
Stun is good.
The Aegis!
The Aegis is buying so much time. There's the throwback. And then the pot has the distance. Ult for the shield, but you can't escape the damage. PandaCat with a great shot on the Spirit Ball. Makes sure to put Globe down.
I mean, the Aegis timing to deal with circle protections was just perfect. The ultimate as well, just had to avoid that last bit of damage. Shortfuse, one final tick of the true damage, enough to put him into that kill threshold for Spirit Ball. And we talked about how strong Eset is around these neutral objectives. Still true, but this time it's just because there's nobody there for the defense. First neutral objective of the game over to the Kaolin Wardens, and a defense from RelentlessOne will prevent the classic trade. Pyromancer was pulled, but forced to reset here. Keep your eyes on Tegveer, though. Still has his ultimate, and PandaCat isn't exactly strong without his.
There's going to be the wall. Fear no evil. Dropped as well. PandaCat getting low. You had mentioned it. Not strong without his. And the damage seems to be their good junk. Their dunk from Tegveer. Gets things going for him. PandaCat killed off. It's a question of follow-up right now. Shortfuse is the chase down for the Thor.
It's got nothing.
Needs a little more to make this happen. Can't blind throw anything out. And there's the disengage for Shortfuse. Stays alive. Meanwhile, Griff doesn't rotate at all. Gets a tower for his troubles. Shippigami rotates in. It's going to help not only get a tier 1, but set up for the Pyromancer for his team. So we ready. You can see it. They lose out on a little bit there. But Mifflin still maintain control of the game ever so slightly.
Yeah, a little bit overzealous from the Kaolin Wardens to try and go for that Pyromancer without circle protection. PandaCat did not have much left in the tank to defend himself, and looking at relic selection across the board, his allies do not care about defending him either. Not a single selfless relic. I'm not seeing any shells. I'm not seeing any cursed donks. I'm not seeing any horrific emblems. Heavenly sprints. We got beads. We got Aegis, or we got beads, and we got blink on the side of the Kaolin Wardens. And so, maybe individually slippery. Some of the less mobile targets going to be easier to jump on. PandaCat in particular, I think. Going to find out very soon that Shell could have gone a long way, or perhaps some of that movement speed. We ready, on the other hand, have got some very good options to deal with some of the resources and survivability that is available to the Kaolin Wardens. I talked a little bit earlier about how the silence on Eset is incredibly powerful. It's because it strips defense. It's a silence. It's a slow. And it gives you an HP shield. Doesn't matter about that HP shield part, though, because Hapn has already elected to pick up a Sunder for himself. We'll deal with that very easily. Otherwise, we ready. And the assassin duo of Tegveer and Ratmilk have found out in that last engagement what their goal should be, and it's jump onto Eset. Close gap. That's the majority of the work done already. And got the global presence from Tegveer to make that even simpler. Fire Giant, the only neutral objective still standing, not aside. Considering a pull just yet. It's got to be a pick first. That pick could just very well happen, considering how aggressive the positioning is.
Fury not back for another minute. It's going to be Primal when it spawns in. So maybe some options to rotate over there. Like you said, though, Fire Giant's not on the board unless you get something to open the door.
A lot of pinging, a lot of standing around. Not a whole lot of happening.
Yeah, a lot of anticipatory play without anything coming out of it. There's a tier 1 split push. Shortfuse leaves this standoff. Goes for something. RelentlessOne. Oh, man, with the Fear No Evil against the wall, is going to go down. Tegveer takes the credit for the kill. They do turn 1 around there to make sure that they kill off Ratmilk.
Who's
now
with
Horus comes in, brings oGryph. Has a little bit of damage. Shi'Nigami's here. So is Hapn. The Dharmic Pillars dropped, and now up to the sky goes the Thor. Dunked down immediately, and it's looking for the carry. Gets the double hammer, and sometimes that's all you need if you're the Thor. Now PandaCat in a little bit of trouble. Throws out the Spirit Ball. Tries to stay aggressive, and it's getting good damage out there. Does not have the ult to work with. Stunned out, chased down, not quite good enough. Tegveer unable to close out that kill, but the damage and the TKOs are there. And that's the zone to get the tier 1. They're going to have to fall back. RelentlessOne's going to spawn back in. We ready, Mifflin, with an onslaught up against the Wardens.
All that off the back of Ratmilk and that teleport play. Just so clean to follow out, chase down, and lock down with the Fear No Evil. Unfortunately for Ratmilk, not all heroes get rewarded, and he goes back to the grayscale, but I think the ripple effects of that fight, of that initiation, very clear as the fight started to go on. And take a peek at the relic score. Bottom 2 members, Hapn and Shi'Nigami. The duo lane lose out on theirs, but no beads, no Aegis on PandaCat. Eset looks like a pretty good target. No beads, no Aegis for oGryph either. Another amazing target. And here's the thing about both oGryph and PandaCat and Eset and Cern. No CC immunity in Kit. Fear No Evil on the other side. Or maybe just a Thor dunk. They are great options.
All right, now, RelentlessOne up in the air. See where he wants to go. Pyromancer. Kind of threatened right now, but not committed to. Half health. And now we ready. Committed to picking it up. Drop it. And then immediately scoop back. They get the zone they wanted. And they're going to get Geno to reset here. Force RelentlessOne to fall away as way. They get the Pyro. And Mifflin, because they just saw all those back, I'll start up the Fire Giant. And now the question is, how well can you hold on to it, Fire? It's not burning super fast, but you got the Dharmic Pillars. That's creating an opportunity that otherwise would be difficult to try and lock down. Jump in from RelentlessOne. It's going to create a little bit of trouble. Shortfuse as well, trying to make sure to get to the back line, get GIobe under pressure, but GIobe is dishing it just as well as he's getting it tossed his way. And Ratmilk just goes in the back alongside Tegveer, opens up the conversation with a kill onto oGryph. Dunk down, not going to connect, but it doesn't matter. Shi'Nigami kills off PandaCat, and now Shortfuse locked away and should be sent to the penalty box here in just a moment from Tegveer. Lose Ratmilk in response.
Yeah, chase forever. Why not?
And, yeah, well, it's a Serqet, and that might be why not. With Ratmilk gone,
there's the wall.
And your solo laner on the other side of the planet, seems like that's going to be the call to cancel out the Fire Giant. But either way, 3-1 in the fight for We Ready.
And We Ready could just reset and go directly to the Fire Giant again. It's not as if PandaCat's going to be spawning for a little while. 10 seconds in the grayscale, 30 seconds for Shortfuse. And so plenty of time to get to the pit. Instead, we're going to grab the Primal Fury maybe on the side of We Ready, who are waffling on decision-making here, deciding on whether or not they want to go for left or right neutral objectives. Shi'Nigami here. ADCs don't lie, not at this phase of the game, so it will be a Primal Fury pool. Geno spots him out, and Shi'Nigami ripcord says, all right, well, I thought there was going to be no one here. Why would they check here instead of the fire? It's because the Kaolin Wardens have got complete ward coverage on the right-hand side. So We Ready? Going to come up empty-handed. A massive team fight win. 3 for 1. You were right. They're going to have to do it again, though, if they want to get anything done.
Have to think maybe a fumble. And the shot calling.
Lost opportunity for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, you could
that's
have got
definitely the way to-
either of them done. You could either grouped up on fire, pulled it, and potentially taken a fight against 2 members of the Kaolin Wardens, or you could group up significantly on Fury and just do it before the Wardens respawn and not be concerned about a fire giant pool. But because they split up across the map, they get nothing.
That little split up, well, that means that the gold still sub 2,000. Not really a lot separating these teams. Experience-wise, guess what? Pretty much the same. Actually, a couple levels down for Hapn. And that's the only big difference, but you had also mentioned this the last few games. Once you hit level 20, who cares? And that's pretty much where a lot of these players are at. Wardens. In a precarious position. Pyromancer's going to be spawning in soon. Primal Fury's still up, but at this point, you don't want to give up any presence around right. You don't have to. Circle Protection and every other ultimate available. You got to look down at Relics. Beads coming back up right now for Shortfuse. Still about 25 seconds for Ratmilk. And so there's definitely small windows of opportunity here. I just don't know that either team are going to get them. Maybe they will, though. Thor and the fight with Shortfuse. Fear no evil, not going to connect. Teleport. It's not going to follow through. Shortfuse walks away. Does have to beads. Blink gets used on the other side. Aggression from We Ready. And they're going to keep up a little bit of that poke, Mifflin, just to make sure RelentlessOne doesn't feel comfortable.
It is worth noting that there's a slight difference in this next team fight that's going to happen as opposed to the previous one that We Ready had won out on significantly. And it's the Relics. In the last team fight, PandaCat, no Relics available. Gryph, no Relics available. This time, they both have both. And the gold lead is dead even. It's 1,000 between these two teams. And this late in the game, 1,000 gold might as well be nothing. And so, a much better look at the Kaolin Wardens and their ability to team fight here, I think. Keeping PandaCat alive has to be the priority for the Kaolin Wardens. If PandaCat dies, I don't see how you're going to get a whole lot done, right? I mean, he is dealing the majority of the damage. He's the majority of your initiation CC, it feels like, because for the most part, it's Geno walking up and then taking a lot of CC himself and then immediately disengaging. What I've seen stick is Spirit Ball from a range and that silence. And so, with him being the recipient of the dive, it seems to me that PandaCat should also be the bastion that you fight around. Circle Protection's amazing on neutral objective. Also just good at standing your ground anywhere on the map. It's damage mitigation while you're in the field, a burst of healing, a burst of damage for enemies in the field as well. Just play around him and things should go a bit better. We Ready have been having a field day splitting up the engagement. So often we get wrapped up watching that frontline battle of who's Hapn jumping on, is Shippigami okay, and we forget that Tegveer has got a global and Ratmilk's going to be joining him every single time. It's the dive versus dive where they split engagements. That's where the Kaolin Wardens have been struggling. Their dive is just not nearly as successful. And so I think that would call for a strategy shift. Play around PandaCat if you're the Wardens and see whether or not We Ready have got an answer.
Objectives, and specifically fire, has to be on the mind right now. Pyromancer goes down and was unanswered, so you did not need to invest that circle of protection, which goes to your point, could be used in the fight instead. It has been a very trepidatious fire giant dance. You can see Tegveer, well, does a decent amount of damage to some carries. That build is not meant for hurting tanks. And so your abilities won't do too much there. Geno learns that one the easy way. And overall, Mifflin, I mean, it is, for lack of a better term, a lot of angry glaring at the other team. A little bit of poke here, a little poke there. But We Ready don't feel like they can dive in very confidently, and I think the Wardens are in a very similar spot.
Yeah, maybe have Tegveer just use the ultimate. See if you can jump on a priority target, then disengage. Burn some of those relics. Same can be said of Ratmilk. Just drop the Fear No Evil. Burn a beads, run it back. Fall back. Wait for your cooldown. Instead, just holding off on those abilities. Dharma Pillar finally channeled. Tegveer to the sky, but it's Globe in trouble.
This might be where it changes. Here's the dunk going to go. Well, from RelentlessOne, it's on to Globe for Tegveer. It's also on to Globe, trying to make sure that his mid laner stays alive, and they do exactly that. We Ready. Globe specifically walks away with his life, but the relics down on the carries. At least 3/4 of them down on the carries for We Ready. Untouched on the other side. So RelentlessOne and Co. start up the Fire Giant. Tegveer, walls out, damage is good, circle
Is
protection.
he dead?
No, RelentlessOne walks out of that one alive. Ratmilk is fishing. We'll see if he gets any bites. Shi'igami gets low and is struggling a little bit. Dash, but right into Shortfuse, gets the easy kill. They do pick up Gryph, and it's bounced back and forth. PandaCat gone. Ratmilk with a great rotation, looking for a little bit more. Give him 3 as the jungler, and the chase forward on to Geno, trying to find the opportunity. But he's not going to be able to find that. They lose Shi'igami, and that might just end their Fire Giant chance as well, despite the triple from the jungler.
Just not enough damage from We Ready to go to the objective now, and not healthy enough either. RelentlessOne, the reset would have spelled a disaster for We Ready in the backline had they decided to pull the Fire Giant. So instead, wait a couple of moments. It's about synced timer between Shi'igami and the 3 members of the Kaolin Wardens. 1 for 3, can't get anything done. Where have we seen this before? It was earlier this game. Neither one of these teams able to break this stalemate just yet. What does it net you, though? Relic Wasteland on the side of We Ready. Literally not a single relic available as of now, but beads and Aegis off of both PandaCat and Gryph bodes well for We Ready. Just have Ratmilk make contact with either, and that's your team fight set.
Maybe a little pressure on Ratmilk.
Or Tegveer. Tegveer can do it too.
Yeah, you're right. Tegveer can do it. And I'm okay with pressuring Tegveer. He might need to be the one to start this up. That's a Pyromancer, clean and ready. For We Ready. They're going to have 2 Runic Bombs now in pocket. Secure is a conversation that I think comes around the Fire Giant, especially when there's the Eset on the other side.
Yeah, PandaCat's got it.
Well, I mean, it's going to out-secure a Runic Bomb every day of the week. But at least you equalize maybe some of that if you drop the Runic Bombs.
And I think it's technically damage mitigation, not protection in circle protections.
Yeah.
Which I do believe also affects true damage, which would mean Runic Bomb potentially does less. Yeah, keep me honest here. What are we looking at? Yeah, 30% damage mitigation. Fire Giant's not considered an ally, though, so it wouldn't be benefiting from that portion, so I made it up. The true damage on Runic Bomb works. Just not on enemies. But it's not true damage on enemies.
And then the problem is that you also then have to do the damage, period, to the Fire Giant, out-securing a circle protection. Right now, it's going to be the fight. Where's Tegveer going? Dunk immediately onto PandaCat. That's where he wants to go. Circle protection's been dropped.
Oh,
it's not
God.
good enough. They get the kill like it's nothing. And now Ratmilk jumps in. It's a great set of kills for We Ready. And they're chasing down a few more. Geno put down in the ground. And RelentlessOne, Shortfuse, last 2 standing. And not much they can do about this. Shortfuse has the ult. They've got some mobility. And it might just be the spot they have to make a stand. Double tap on RelentlessOne. Should TKO him from the fight. Fire Giant.
Well, that connects.
Be ready. Ratmilk finds the kill necessary. Shortfuse getting blocked out, stunned off. And it's just whether you can get the kill, maybe get
Sacred
the
Monkey.
Deicide to complete
There it
things.
is.
Sacred Monkey. One more auto. Double kill. Deicide. Fire Giant. They got it all right now for their We Ready.
We Ready absolutely pop it off of the tail end there. I mean, what was that? A 4-man ultimate from Ratmilk just absolutely decimates. I don't know about that. It's 8 seconds. They're going for it,
They're
Thor.
going in, man. They want it. They have it all.
Oh, they got it. They got it.
They've got the damage necessary. You're looking at an SOC team trying to make a statement right here and right now. And Mifflin, they've made it. They're going forward. They've done what they needed.
Clean play. Clean play. I saw PandaCat do 1,000 damage with Circle Protection. I thought to myself, wow, what a way to lose. Finally, Circle Protection hits a priority target. Yeah, it wasn't enough. PandaCat died immediately afterward, and so did the rest of his team because, well, fear no evil onto both backliners when both backliners are lacking both beads and Aegis. Tends to go well for you. And so Gryph and PandaCat, unfortunately being the recipient of that ultimate, essentially sealed the fate of the team fight.
Definitely. I mean, look, all these games take a little while to get there for these teams, and you get to see that, I think, in this matchup a lot. 42 minutes for Game 1, 40 minutes around there for Games 2 and Game 3, really. But that last one, Mifflin, it feels like it's not just the objective secure. We talked a lot about that for the Eset. But then the fight around it mattered just as much, and a couple of times the Wardens looked really good with it. But just as many times, We Ready were able to find 2, 3, 4 in their favor. and just make a smashing difference up against whatever the Wardens were able to dish out. And you had called for it. You needed Ratmilk or Tegveer to get into the deep line, cause some disruption. They did it.
And they did it well. They did it consistently at that. I mean, so many. Every team fight that went the way of We Ready was Tegveer and Ratmilk jumping into the back line. Griff and PandaCat struggling to survive. I think that is a multi-pronged issue. Itemization maybe a bit of an issue there. Could have been a little bit more aura defense for the Kaolin Wardens. Relic selection maybe a bit of that issue as well. Could have been some shells. Could have been some horrifics. Could have been some heavenlies. Things along those lines to keep your immobile backliners a little bit safer. Instead, it was a whole lot of both teams diving and only one team's dive working.
Unfortunately there, slash lines maybe tell the story. And actually tell the story I was trying to hint at in the last game. It's 8-4 and 7, 8-2 and 10, very heavy on the right-hand side for We Ready. 0-1 and 8 for Globe, 0-0-12 for Hapn. Unfortunately, a couple of early kills, a few occasional late kills for Wardens, but nothing that was cementing the deal for them. Gotta say, and this is just personal preference, really like Shippigami on the ROM.
Shippigami on ROM was different.
I don't think that the Izanami was bad, though. And so a lot of credit for him. We ready? I hope they are ready. Because the future's looking a little different for him, Mifflin. Look, it's a grand landscape. What we were here for today in general was playing for 2 spots in the SCC. We had the bottom 2 of the SCC in North America coming in, the top 2 from the open circuit to play against each other in this round robin. And wouldn't you guess it, with a win right there, that's a separation that you need. We're going to have a couple of new teams joining us in Mixidity and We Ready. Presumably taking on the Wardens and the Storm's mantle as far as names go.
Gotta be, right?
But what a way for the day to go. To win your sets, not just win your sets, but to beat the SCC teams each. Has to feel really good for the open circuit squads.
Yeah, the SEC clearly outclassed here by the SOC. I mean, it's been a long time since relegations have looked like that. I mean, that is usually at least one team maintains their spot, or there's a little bit of fight back, or, you know, things are a little bit more interesting. This time, one side was clearly just better, and that was the SOC.
Well, the good news, I guess, for those 2 teams is joining the SCC. The bad news for you guys is that that's the broadcast for the weekend, right? If you watched again, Europe is going to be replaying their matches, and then moving forward, it's definitely going to be a different landscape. But better news is there's still more SMITE to come, because next week is going to be the start of Masters. Thursday, we're going to be coming in 4 best of 3s a day until Sunday, and you're going to be seeing a lot of familiar names, a lot of familiar teams, because it's the SCC squads fighting for their chance to get into a bracket. Eventually, those guys are going to find themselves up against either the Hounds, I believe, or the Gladiators. And a lot of those, I believe those matches are going to be played later in the week. Kings and Dragons starting on Saturday. Leviathan's Ferryman going to be there on Saturday. So a lot of very fun SMITE. And it's all starting on Thursday. So you're going to want to make sure that you get to be in there. It is going to be a full week. It's going to be a lot of SMITE. And you're not going to want to miss a single bit of it. And Mifflin, it just feels like it's from top to bottom going to be a really good week for Masters. And that's just week 1. There's a second week after that.
Yeah, so make sure you're tuning in every single day. Mark your calendars.
Yeah.
Please mark your calendars. You see these lights? They stay on because of you, and I'm scared of the dark.
And go to advanced.gg. I don't know why. Maybe it's something in the air was just making me think about that. Make sure you use code SMITE if you do, though. And also make sure you follow Jordan on Twitter, because it's funny and he's here. And you weren't expecting the shout out. Thanks for watching, everyone. It's been a fun day here.
Wait, there's
North
nothing
America
in that cup.
SCC. From myself,
You're a phony.
From Mifflin, from Jordan,
oh my
everyone
God.
in production, and everyone here at Hi-Res Studios. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week for Masters.